Total number of PVC collected is 1,046. Reason of the cancellation, VB was failure. Kubau, 1 polling unit is affected. Total number of registered voters that polling unit is 156. Total number of PVC collected is 156. Reason of cancellation, missing result. The presiding officer ran away with the result. So the result, that's why it was cancelled. What's the second one? So 3 polling units are affected. Total number of registered voters at that polling unit is 1,160. Number of PVC collected, 1,160. Reason of cancellation, non-usage of beavers. Other cancellation as a result of overvoting, on which we have read that all the parties will now be getting 0. Result of overvoting. Cancellation as a result of overvoting is credit the PUs 0. So with this, total number of PUs affected is 7. Total number of registered voters at that PU is 3,127. No, total for those I mentioned, the total of the all. Yes. 3,127. That is total number of registered voters in the PU where it was cancelled. PVC collected in those units where it was cancelled is 3,092. 3,092. Other cancellations are as a result of voting, and everybody gets 0, as the regulations says and as I read within margin of error. Thank you. So just answer the questions of the letter that I was reminded, and we checked the guidelines, and this is what the guidelines says, and we sincerely appreciate by bringing this to our attention. So, I'll continue. So, any observation, please? Sorry, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for this job that you've done. I have 2 very, very strong positions that I want to present here. You've done your collation, you've given us your figures. Here, my name first, I will say, is Tanjuma Bello Sarki, and I'm the Kaduna State Collation Agent for PDP. You gave us your own results. I have a result here that was collated by our own situation room through your IREV. And in this result sheet, PDP has 713 votes, 157. Can you take it, sir? Now I want you to write it down, not just hearing. Okay, then the next. APC have 709,561. Contrary to what you have given to us here, it shows that PDP is leading at this time with 3,596. But based on what you have given us here, it shows that APC is leading with 10,800, I think it's on 6 or so. So this seriously contradicts our what we have. So that is my first position. Position 2, sir. Based on that letter that what you said was written to you, to draw your attention to the Electoral Act and guidelines that is considered before declaration of results. I want you to know that in any electoral process, electoral acts supersede a guideline, rule, or regulation of any commission. Just like the Constitution supersedes any other act. Here, sir, just like I stated in the letter, maybe I'll have to read the letter for the consumption of the public here. Because what we are doing here is a serious business. And I want us, we are not in a hurry. We are here to ensure that the mandate of the people is reflected as they expressed it in the various polling units across the state. So please, I want us to do justice for this, to this, so that posterity will judge us. And so that this process will be seen to be transparent, free, and fair. And whoever gets what should be duly given to him. So I want to read this letter that my political party wrote to you, that was titled Declaration of Governorship Election for Kaduna State. I hereby write, as returning officer of the People's Democratic Party for the governorship election in Kaduna State, I hereby write to draw your attention to the provision of paragraph 82 of the INEC Regulations and Guidelines for Conduct of Election 2022, and to be guided by the same in the discharge of your duties as returning officer of the governorship election in Kaduna State, especially as it relates to the declaration of the winner of the election. The said provision is reproduced hereunder for your ease of reference. Section 82 says, where the margin of lead between the two leading candidates is less than the total number of PVCs collected in the polling unit where election was held or was cancelled in line with sections 24, bracket 2 and 3, section 47(3), section 51(2) of the Electoral Act 2022, the returning officer shall decline to make a return until polls have taken place in the affected polling unit and the results incorporated into new form EC8D and subsequently recorded into form EC8E for declaration and return. Please see also the case of Gidado and others versus Mohammed and others, 2015 law report 4035-6 thus. However, the approved guideline of paragraph 46J empower INEC to hold a run or supplementary election in the circumstances provided for thus, where the margin between the two leading candidates is not in excess of the total number of registered voters of the polling unit where election was cancelled or not held. Decline to make a return until another poll has taken place in the affected polling units and the results incorporated into new form EC8C1 and subsequently recorded into form EC8E1 for declaration and return. I have earlier indicated in this judgment that the margin of vote, the first appellant and the first respondent is 488 votes. Total number of registered voters in the 4 polling units where elections were cancelled is 1,365 registered votes. The circumstances as presented by the scenario come within paragraph 46(5) of the approved guidelines and regulation for conduct of 2015 general election, for which the third respondent should invoke its powers to hold the run election in those units. In view of the foregoing, and in the light of the massive cancellation of election results conducted in many polling units in Kaduna State during the governorship election in virtually all the local governments in the state, especially in Kudan local government, where election results in 2 wards were cancelled. That is Garu and Karonwali North were not entered in the collated governorship election result for Kudan local government, despite the fact that election was conducted in the polling unit of the 2 wards, and the results posted on INEC result viewing portal. So this Garu and Karonwali, we have addressed it here. Furthermore, in many polling units in all the local government from EC40G were filled by returning officers, and the number of registered voters who collected their permanent voters card in these polling units is more than the margin of lead/win in the governorship election in Kaduna State. In the circumstance, it has become necessary for you to decline the announcement of the result of the governorship election in Kaduna State until a supplementary election is conducted in those polling units where the result of election has been cancelled. Our position, aforesaid, is validated by the fact that INEC has already declared the governorship election in Kebbi State, and even now in Adamawa State, and here in Kaduna State. In the case of Kaduna State, House of Assembly election in Kudan, Sanga, and Kauru state constituencies of Kaduna State, where PDP candidates were in the lead, were declared inconclusive on grounds of margin of lead. We are looking forward to your adherence to the rule of law, taking into consideration your role as an impartial umpire. Please accept the assurances of our high regard. Yours faithfully, Danjuma Bello Serki, PDP State Coalition Agent. Lastly, sir, you read out numbers of registered voters in some polling units that were cancelled. When this election was going on, and even at the local government level, our agents asked the electoral officers and the collation officers at the local level to avail them copies of the form EC40G1 they filled in that place, which contains the total number of accredited, total number of registered voters in those polling units, and total number of PVC collected, so that they will have a copy as evidence, so that when we come here, they will not come and change the figure and present something different. They refuse. Just the way I raised yesterday the issue of Jama'a and Kubo, whereby up to now as I'm talking, the duplicate copy of Kubo have not been handed to us as agents in this election. So here, because they refuse to give them the copies of the form EC40G, our people use the available information they have provided by the INEC in their various systems to say that we have numbers of registered voters in those polling units of the affected units that were cancelled in the various local government, which is as follows. Birningwari, 2,506. Chukung, 1,701. Giwa, 1,997. Igabi, 4,978. Ikara, 3,960. Jaba, 911. Jama'a, 2,551. Katia, 8,002. Kaduna North, 4,128. Kaduna South, 5,189. Kagarko, 911. Kauru, 1,600. Kubau, 2,103. Kudan, 3,500. 560. Lere, 5,822. Makarfi, 3,181. Sabangari, 6,880. Sanga, 2,100. Soba, 2,853. Zangwankata, 410. Zaria, 3,588. Here, in total, we have 68,861 as the number of registered voters and PVC collected in this affected area. So, sir, by this, it clearly shows that if we go by the results I presented that we obtained from IREF, where I told you that the PDP won this election, is still the fact that the margin between our margin of lead is less than the council vote. Likewise, if we go to the one you declared here, where you gave APC the victory, it is still below the margin. The margin of lead is still below the total number of council votes. So here I'm saying, you are talking about guidelines here that is talking about whether beavers works or thuggery stop or violence stopped it. No, the Election Act, which supersedes the guideline, states that council votes. It did not specify whether it is caused by this or that. As far as election either did not hold or you are cancelled. So I want to read that section for you, sir, for clarity, so that you get it very clear. Section 51. Here, Section 51(4) said, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 2 and 3, the Commission may, if satisfied that the result of the election will not substantially be affected by voting in the area where the election is cancelled, direct that a return of the election be made. Okay? So, sir, one thing I want you to get clearly here is that what you presented here to us is contrary to what we have here. And for transparency's sake, we want you, INEC has a published list of PVC, okay? And you, even the ones you stated, let's cross-check and see the actual number of valid votes in those polling units. Then, two, sir, I want you to go to your IREF, and look at my position on these results we collated from IREF, so as not to contradict this, just like it happened even in Adamawa, where the results was of IREF was used to substantiate the claim or to substantiate the position of the votes declared, so that we don't seem to be biased, or so that we get our record straight and do the needful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate this. But I think I would like you to note these results that I read out are results that were presented by local government returning officers here with us, and nobody objected to the result. What I read is just what was calculated here with us, not me alone or the INEC. Local government returning officer came here, made a presentation and asked questions. Any comment based on the result they presented, and that is the result that we accepted. Everybody was here, nobody make it without me asking a question whether it's okay. So As the matter of the law, this is not court of law. We are collating here. If you look at the law closely, when cancellation is due to overvoting, all parties get 0. That's what it says. And if I can even take you around, let's take just from Soba. We have 3 polling units. One is 530 PVC collected, PVC registered and collected. Why is it cancelled? It's non-use of Vivas. And we reflected the 3 places on Soba, and this is what the local government returning officer returned. And we asked questions, and they told us how many, and we are here. When we asked how many incidences, they mentioned the incidences and the cause of the cancellations. Zango and Kataf, we have polling unit area code 06, affected PU1, number of registered voters 120, number of PVC collected is review of cancellation over voting. So just everybody gets 0 for this. The next is Binungwari. They turned 56, 236 here. Cause of cancellation over voting. We are here, they mentioned. Chukun, first PU, 03, 305 registered voters, 291 PVC collected, reason of cancellation over voting. Second, PU number 112, registered voters 750, PVC collected 750, non-deployment of personnel and materials, and that's what we reported in our EC40G2. The first one is overvoting, everyone gets 0. The second one is non-deployment of material and personnel, and that's why the cancellation starts as cancel. We say this. So all of this, everybody was here when I asked the questions. What are the incidences? What are the reasons for the incidences? And they mentioned, have you filled from AC 40G1? Yes. And we look at it based on what he said is what is there in the form, and we collect it. And we're all witnesses here on what transpired. So here we are not court of law, but we are here to abide by the regulations that will govern, that is being derived from the law. What it is here is all cancellation based on overvoting. As the regulation says, stand is 0 and will continue with the return. Where is as a result of distortions, we cancel that. If distortion comes after a result has been announced, then that's when we use reconstruct that. And this is what happened in Kudan. If members can recall, we here told you that we have to resurrect the whole result of Kudan. Even the 2 words he mentioned, they were also regenerated, and they are part of what was read here, and nobody objected to what was read here. Thank you. I will go to the next one, please. Thank you.
Before I hand over to my colleague, sir, I said before now that this form EC40G was filled by your own ad hoc and permanent staff without giving anybody a copy, without even agreeing anybody to see it. And even these are the issues I was raising yesterday here. And you did not even do anything about those kind of issues. That I said they are refusing our people copies of forms filled. And here, sir, we are talking about a matter of duty that it behoves on you by the Electoral Act, not by any guideline of INEC, not by any rule. Because Electoral Act, as I said, supersedes INEC guideline, because Electoral Act is a law of the National Assembly. So I so submit. Thank you.
You see, in as much I don't want to continue talking, but I need to answer this. The issue you raised yesterday here for non-giving, it was a state assembly elections. Note that. You said they didn't sign. We show you where your agent signed. We show you here where your agent signed. And the returning officer told you the issue you are making where they are not giving is state assembly election. And I can recall making comment that we are here for governorship return election collation, not state election. That I told you. Because you say you didn't sign, and I show you. Your agent signed and you confirm that they signed. So they are mixing the issues. I'll take the next. Yes. Please leave him. Leave him. Please leave him. I have leave him. Yes.
First issue, I read issue of our your return officer and collection agent. That he declared results in Jama'ah for governorship, and he did not present a copy of the result, certificate of the result sheet to our agent or other agent, and he came down and even mentioned over 200 kilometers to this place. And even at the point of declaration, he did not present that. That was what I want to do. The other one you are talking about is that of the I made that of Jama'ah. Apart from Jama'ah, I made that of Togo, that they did not give us the certificate of the which I equally reminded you here, that up to now, they have not given us the duplicate copy of Kupao local government. So please, sir, I raised 3 valid issues there. So when you are talking about, it's only one here, which is that of Lere.
Thank you. Next, please. Then
My name is Yahya Ibrahim Shinko. I am the returning collation officer of agent of the New Nigeria People's Party. Having made calculation of all the results being received from the various local governments, we were here when the electoral officers and the returning officers from the local government made their cases. And I observed in several local governments, they have said very clearly that results were cancelled based on overvoting. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not about where there is overvoting, the vote should be assumed each party has scored 0. By the provision he has started to read, which I want to also read some part of it as a rider to what he has said, before the commission should decide on whether to go ahead and make declaration or to look into the case being presented by our colleague. With your permission, I read. Section 51. He earlier read subsection 4. There are 2 sections that are subsections that are very crucial. Subsection 2 says, where the number of votes cast at an election in any polling unit exceed the number of accredited voters in that polling unit, the presiding officer shall cancel the result of the election in that polling unit. 3, where the result of an election is cancelled in accordance with subsection 2, there shall be no return. Mandatory, there shall be no return for the election until another poll has taken place in the affected polling unit. So it's not about going to the court. This is a directive. The Electoral Act is speaking with the Electoral Commission. There should be no return. You are the one that will make the return, and the law says there should be no return. The proviso being read by my colleague says, notwithstanding the provision of subsection 2 and 3, the commission may, if satisfied that the result of the election will not substantially be affected by voting in the area where the election is cancelled, direct that a return of the election be made. So in this case, we have to make calculation of the area where those cancellations were made to know the number of registered voters and the PVCs received, then compare with the margin between the 2 leading parties before you can make your declaration. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Yahya Babapati. I'm representing the All Progressives Congress, Kaduna State. Mr. Chairman, we are all given opportunity to object the results being collected here by the various collation officers of the local government. And none of us demanded or complained against any result being collected from the 23 local government. There are processes for collation. If you have a complaint, you should complain when the returning officer of a certain local government is presenting his result for the state collation. And regarding the law they are making, the INEC guideline is being derived from the Electoral Act and the Constitution of Nigeria. INEC did not manufacture its guidelines. So what I'm saying here, Mr. Chairman, I urge you to continue with the collation and announce the winner. This is our submission. Thank you very much.
Any comment? Any further comment, please? Thank you.
As I said earlier, the information available to me in terms of cancellation and review of cancellations are just that I read out to you, and that also the return officer read while they were making their returns here. The guideline that was derived from the law, I also read it out here. That also what guides the processes of the conduct of the elections and the returns of the elections. That also I read out, I'm sure also members are aware. The results that I read here are the results that were projected to us here by all the local government returning officers. And we asked the questions whether anybody has anything. The only observations my gentleman friend did was that some members, and in front of him, one of the return officers says it was that of State Assembly notages. He mentioned that on 3 places, one which they gave an answer, the other one which they did not give. That also was not before me for that, because I was not there at the returning office election with the local government. So what was made available before me here, and with all of you here witnessing, is actually that's what I'm going to use in making my returns. Total vote cast cancel if you remove overvoting, in which I read that is going to be 0, where it's either due to violence, then the total number of votes is 3,127. There are others which which I also read out, each local government by local government, and also polling unit by polling unit, and the result of cancellations. So it's just what will guide us to make a return. And thank you, I sincerely appreciate. Whatever I read here is what has been shown to us much earlier. I think probably it's being covered by this. And this is the returns from where we have 14 contestants here, starting from AA Adamutumo to Shaman, ADC Zagi Caleb, Jibril Yusuf for ADP, Sani Uba for APC, Duya Andrew Bui for Abga, Al Hassan Yahya for APM, Musa Kalla Yahya for APP, Sake Jonathan for LP, Othman Hungu Suleiman for NNPP, Gambo Salus Abubakar for NRM, Muhammad Ashuru Isa for PDP, Lawal Hayatuddin for PRP, Idris Adamu Abubakar for SDP, and Ambassador Sani Yahya for YPP. Total votes council, which I also read out there for you. And by that power, vested on me by the Electoral Act and also the regulations of this, I would like to make a return of the candidate with the highest number of votes as presented to me by the local government returning officers, in which you are also a witness when they made a presentation. If you don't mind, I don't mind reading all of them again for you to see before I make my declaration. If you don't mind, I have the time to do that. AA have 652, 652. I don't know whether if you can project that for all to see. ADC is 2421, ADP 4141, APC 730002, APGA 1471, APM 603, APP 325, LP 58283, NNPP 21405, NRM 1560, PDP 719196, PRP 4349, SDP 1403, YPP 909. This total number of valid votes is 1546747. Total number of rejected votes is 19114. Total number of vote cast is 1565861. By this submission here, the party with the highest number of votes is APC with 730002. And the margin of lead here is much higher than the approved cancellation of 3,127. And because of this, I will make a return. So that is the return. Thank you. Kashina.
EC1.
EC1. Ina EC1.
EC1 wanda yake summary din.
Kashina shi ne wannan. Shi summary. EC80. So ina yake.
Operation.
EC1.
Summary.
Ina kira. Yes, EC1. Shi ne za a kira form din ne. Za a kawo form din. Ina form din EC1. Inda ke suna wanda ke only one candidate. Na return. Kwali ga hannun shi. So ga shi dai kaga dai. Ina. EC ya bane.
If you want. Oh, you declare it.
Shi ne za cika suna ba. Ya sunan shi. Sani Uba.
Sani Uba.
Of APC. Date 20th. Day of March. Okay. Hey, Bashebu. Yes.
All the things that come with every page.
Sai kuma su sani inda za su sani ga
wancan babban ne za su yi sani ina yake
gashi nan ƙasa.
har na ƙashe kai
Wannan ma bai kai
ba
ba.
damuwa a yi su duka ne
A yi gaba ɗaya. Sai wancan. Wani? Shi Sani. Wannan da za su sa. Da za su sa wani lokaci ana son matsala. Kasa ana samun matsala yana rihi yana rihi rubutu yana rihi ban sa suna ba na biro shi nan kasa wani kashin da ke suka rayu ai guda ne sai wanda shi na shi ma na tsaro
na sama kawai
yau 20 years ko
yawa kun kwashe 40 jis na ko suna za ba ka take da ke wurin ba
suna nan wajen kun kasa suna tare da from ECH
wannan tana ba ya da
okay
tana da gaskiya
thank you everyone I would like to conclude this. I, Professor Lawal Bilbis, here certify that I am the returning officer for the 2023 Kaduna State Governorship elections held on the 18th of March 2023. The election was contested. The candidate received the following votes.
One by one again.
Adamu Timothy Shama, 652 as read earlier. Sagi Khalib of ADC 2421. Jibril Yusuf of ADP 4141. Sani Uba of APC 730002. Dia Andrew Abui of Afghan 1471. Al-Hassan Yahya of APM 630. Musa Kalla Yahya of APP 325. Sake Jonathan of LP 58283. Osman Hungi Suleiman of NNPP 21405. Gambo Salisu Abubakar of NRM 1560. Mohammed Ashur Isa of PDP 719196. Lawal Hayatuddin of PRP 4349. Idris Adamu Abubakar of SDP 1403. Ambassador Sanin Yahya of YPP 909. That Sani Uba of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared as the winner. Thank you. So, Kasan. Yes.
The next thing is for them to understand the form.
That's what the form said. So now,
Governor elect is right.
that Sani Uba of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected. Thank you. So, since you sign it first.
The next thing is to call on the agents of the political parties to please come and sign the necessary forms.
Kaganan, are you contesting?
Are you soke not contested?
Soke
shi zaka not now.
Are you contesting? Are you contesting?
Yin zaben kan shi ne ayi.
Election was
contested. Are you contested? Da ba ai zaben bane kuta shine yauwa.
Yes.
Sai agents go.
Agents on.
The agents please kindly come forward and sign the from EC8D. Agents, we are going to go in one by one. We are going AA. Agent for AA, please. Is there any agent for AA? Come and sign the form. AA, please come forward and sign the form. ADC, agent of ADC, please come forward and sign the form. ADP, ADC, are you around? ADP, agent for ADP, ADC. APC, is the agent for APC around? APC, please come forward to sign if you are close by.